I love it that we have a community that comes together to get things done. Not just to have fun within ourselves, but goes out there in the world, and we want to do good works, and we get to do it together. So I'm going to move on to the freedom of letting go. And our book of the month, you heard, Resilience and the Art of Accepting Support by Christiane. In fact, there's books out in the lobby if you want to buy one. We have them out there. So Christiane says in chapter 1, better late than never. She's challenging us to answer the call on our life, whatever that might be. Typically, it means that there's a change included in that call on our life. So the change that I'm speaking of a lot of times is letting go of beliefs about ourselves that no longer serve us. Because remember, when we are from, birth to 7 years old, we're getting programmed. Not by choice, by whatever your ancestors brought to your parents. And what they were brought up with is what we get coded and encoded with. This programming happens, you're not in control of it, and what happens is as you grow into your own self, as you grow up, and you recognize, wait a minute, I'm here to do good work in this world. I'm here to be the voice. I'm here as Delanne sings, and she sings. I'm here as Mel writes, as she writes. I am here to do what I was gifted with. And the challenge sometimes is that we have those voices in our head that are saying, not so much. You're really not a great writer. You're not the best singer. There's people that are better. You're no Celine Dion, right? We do this comparison thing. We do this thing with ourselves. And it's not helpful. So, my work and my calling in ministry started with letting it go. Let me give you a little background on that. I was in meditation. I had just been let go myself from a corporate job of 11 years. I was newly in ministerial school, and I closed my eyes and I kept hearing, let it go. And I didn't know what that meant. And I'm a visual person. I'm artistic. I love to paint, I love to draw. And all of a sudden I saw a logo for a business called Letting It Go. And so as I was going through ministerial school, I started a company called Letting It Go. And I helped people declutter their lives. Not just physically, although there's a lot of that to be done. Don't we all, as humans, collect a lot of stuff in our lives? But I heard it and I obeyed what I heard. I knew there was something, there was some direction for my ministry that was calling me to do this work. So what happened from that is, as I was in school and a practitioner, I came up with these AAAs of letting it go. I'm going to talk about that briefly because I think it's very valuable that the only way to be resilient is to let go of what no longer serves us. So the first A of letting it go is to acknowledge the story. And I'll keep it in context with change. Many times in our lives, we have a story of why we can or can't do something. Maybe you have the heart of a world traveler, but the story is, I don't have the funds, I don't have the means, or maybe physically I can't do that. Maybe I'm too young, I'm too old, whatever the story is. See, we all have stories that we carry around. I don't want you to beat yourself up for this story. I just want you to recognize it. Recognize that story. Sometimes people have this thing about transformation and change, that change is just too hard. It's too painful and it's impossible. So I'm just going to stay right here. If that's what you choose, so be it. That's not how I want to live my life. So, those stories are those things that we tell ourselves. The next A is accept. Acceptance. Christiane talks a lot about acceptance in this first chapter. Once we accept the story, a situation, a circumstance, then we can finally move forward. See, Christiane talks about how resilience is the ability to adapt to change. And what do we know in life? Changes are always happening. Life is always lifing. Always. It's always happening. It's always changing. So we need to accept where we're at. Accept the what is. The more you resist it, the more it's going to stay with you, folks. I've been there. What you resist will persist. We've all heard that. So, the thing about this that I've noticed is that sometimes, and in the book she talks about this, there's grief that comes with change. You know what you know when you wake up. You know what your day is going to be like, and if there's something you deal with, you know, it's what you know. It even if it's painful, it can be comfortable because you're expecting it and you know it. But wait a minute. What if you want to do it differently? The personality might say, uh-oh, then I don't know what to expect. A lot of people get really uncomfortable when they don't know what's coming. Oh, no, none of you in here, no. We want to be in control and know what the next thing is, right? Well, when you're going through transformation and you're changing, you don't know what's next. I know many times in my life when that's happened for me. When I was in the midst of my last relationship letting go, and it was hard. I went through a really difficult time, and there was that part of my soul that knew this was the best thing for me, because I wouldn't be here today as a minister if I was still in that other relationship. And yet, I remember sitting in spiritual community thinking, who am I without that other person? Who am I if I don't have that structure of the house and the dogs and the blended family? Who am I? I got to relearn who I am as an individual soul because of going through that. It wasn't easy, but I'm really, really incredibly grateful that everything happened exactly the way it happened. Now, if you asked me that in the midst of it, I would have said something else. There might have been a few curse words. I also know that different times in my life when I moved jobs, whenever I worked, I had great opportunities. I was in the photographic and graphic arts industry for almost 40 years. And wherever I worked, I ended up being the manager, production manager, the general manager, and that meant that I knew what was going on in this place, every corner of it. So when I went to a different place, a different company, all of a sudden, I didn't know what was going on. Oh boy, did I feel awkward. I didn't know who I was all of a sudden. Well, they've hired me to be doing this, but I don't know what I'm doing. You know, when you first get to a new place and you're just not sure, it's uncomfortable. And I did grieve the places that I was before because, oh boy, I knew what was going on. I had my thumb on the pulse. But every time I made a change, it was the best thing that I could have done because it grew me. It grew me into who I am today. So if you are grieving what was, even though sometimes what was is painful, it's natural. It's a natural process, and it's okay. The last A of my triple A's is action. Now, in this book of the month, Christiane is giving us plenty of opportunity to step into action because it's actually not just a book, it's also a workbook. A place to write your intentions, to write your statements, to explore your self-defeating thoughts, and create new, successful thoughts. So, I challenge you to pick up this book. Come at 9:30 next week. Step into the book study. Because that's going to be action. See, action, it can be a little baby step, or it can be a big, bold step. I'm not here to tell you what action you need to take. You'll know that for yourself. So, what I've noticed about freedom is that it is an inside job. No one can open the prison of my heart and my mind except for me. Now, I have a cousin that's incarcerated right now. And we've had some deep discussions about these things. The last time we talked, I said, you know, you have this unique opportunity, cousin, because he is on a spiritual path. I said, you don't kind of have to worry about the household and your work and what's next. Everything is laid out before you. And so what he's doing is he is reading and studying and practicing and meditating. I know that this cousin of mine is forever changed because of the circumstances and what happened. I know that certain members of my family are judging him for the mistakes that he's made. But what I know is that this was his path, this was his destiny, so that he can know himself as the spiritual individual that he is. Do I like what happened? No. The decisions that he made? No. But I love him, and I know him for who he is. Just like I give that love to myself, just like I give that love to all of you. We've all made mistakes. Some of us get caught, and some of us don't. You see, I've noticed that the more that I can befriend myself first, the more freedom I have in my life. So I wanted to give you some tricks for making change stick, and this comes from the book, from Christiane's book. Accept. I said accept. Accept the current situation. Just accept it. Number 2, give your change meaning. So, like I said, I know that what my cousin's going through is for the growth and expansion of his soul. When I've gone through those hard times in my life, I've known it was for my growth and my expansion. I can even say this, that I didn't always know it in the moment, but the more mature I get, older, the quicker I know that for myself. Truly. Number 3, have an attitude that everything's going to be okay. Last week, I was talking about self-coaching, and that's something I tell myself. It's all going to be okay. It might look like a mess right now, but it's all going to be okay. You have to be your own self-coach. I mean, it's good to have coaches out there too. We've got beautiful practitioners in this community that can help you. Next, you want to focus on the end result. So when I have ridden my bike on big giant hills in California, what I did was I focused on a milestone, like a mile marker or a tree or a line on the road, and I knew that if I could just get to that spot, then I could get to the next spot. I didn't look at the top of the mountain. I got there because I went one milestone at a time, one success at a time. Slow change is okay. It's okay that if you're making steps, that it's one little step, as long as you're moving forward. And it's almost impossible to stay or to move backwards, I think, in life, if you're at all awake and aware and in communities like this. Be kind to yourself. Look, you guys, I know that there's a lot of really great friends out there. You guys have known each other for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, some of the folks in this room. And when you tell your friend what's going on, they do nothing but support you, love you, give you a hug. But when you are talking to yourself, do you give that same kindness to yourself? You have to give that to yourself, first and foremost. And finally, you have to create an environment that supports the change. Look, if you've decided, I want to change up my nutrition, then what do? You go into your house and you throw away the Doritos. If they're in the house, what's going to happen? You're going to eat the Doritos. Well, it's the same for everything. If I want to be around positive, uplifting people, then I'm here in a community like this. If I want to go back to people that just, sit in front of the TV and watch news all the time, what kind of nutrition is that for your soul? It's very important that you take care of your environment. Now, I'll just give you a little caveat. Sometimes within family units, there's people in your family that they might be sitting in front of the TV watching the news. And you have to honor them by being together sometimes. Well, you go do that, but you make sure that you have this appointment that you need to make, that you need to get to. So I can only stay with you 10 minutes, Rick, but then I gotta go. Right? Boundaries, taking care of yourself, but still honoring that you have to take care of your family and friends in a certain way. So when I think about living a life of freedom, it's exciting. Yes, change can be an interesting thing to go through, but I know that life is just this series of choices that I make. When something changes, I choose to see the good in it. When something changes, I choose to find the wisdom in it. When something changes, I might have an instant reaction of, uh-oh, what's next? But I quickly get over that and move on, because I've learned for myself that that's just how I want to show up in this life. What keeps me happy, what keeps me thriving, what keeps my soul expanding. So let go of what no longer serves you, those beliefs. If you need help with it, you reach out to a practitioner. After service, go get a prayer. Come to visioning afterwards. If you didn't bring a potluck, that's okay. We always find enough for everybody. Right? Use these tools. Keep coming back when we have classes. Sign up. I believe that truly letting go is the path to freedom. Let's pray. Just taking in a deep breath, and I want to just be so clear and grateful that the Dalai Lama has today been on this planet for 90 years. How grateful I am for his teaching of kindness and compassion. How grateful I am for this community. How grateful I am for our friends in this community, for Christiane writing this beautiful book that we get to use this month. How grateful I am for life, for waking up and being able to get ready. That my body temple supports me in getting up, getting ready, getting here. How grateful I am for Ernest Holmes, the writer of Science of Mind, and all of his inspiration. Emma Curtis Hopkins, Troward, Emerson, and more. How grateful I am to know there is only one power, one presence, one love. It doesn't matter what you call it. You might call it spirit, energy, vibration, heart, soul, God, Allah, Jehovah, Hashem, the way, universe, that divine matrix. Whatever you call it, that one that is in everything, everywhere, everything that we can see, and even those things that we can't see. Everything that we can hear, the hum of the air conditioning, the beautiful musical notes. In every mountain vista, and every tree, and every blossom, and every bloom. Simply everywhere, omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, omniconsciousness, omni-love. And because I know that this is true, I claim and know for myself that I am one and the same as the one, the I am that I am. Everything that is calling my life into being, to be, to do, to say, to serve, is that expression of the one. And I know the same truth for everybody within earshot of this prayer time, this prayer vortex that we create together. That we are all called into being on purpose, with a purpose, as the hands, the mouthpiece, the feet of the one. That one, whatever you call that oneness. We can never be separate from it because there's only one. It can only be present and never absent. So knowing that is the truth, I claim and know for those beloved children camping in Texas that were lost or that they're still looking for, that they're not alone. Power, presence, oneness is with them and their parents and their friends and their loved ones, everyone affected by this. I also know this for our planet, for all these places that are in a moment of war. That we hold the peace and the freedom in our hearts and we give it away freely. It has to come from us while they work out the details. We can't expect them to be at peace if we're not at peace. So we do our work here in this community. We work on our own peace and our own freedom, our own resilience, so that we can help make that ripple effect and change this world. I also claim and know for my beloveds in this room and online that are concerned, worried about themselves, a recent diagnosis, a change that's happening in their life, that we include you in this prayer and everyone out there. You can start by saying your name either silently or out loud and the names of your beloveds that need prayer today. Cindy. Yes, yes, yes. See, this is fertile soil that we are creating together, where we're planting these seeds, the seeds of affirmative prayer. We don't do prayer by begging and beseeching. We do prayer by knowing our birthright is wholeness. Our birthright is abundance. Our birthright is joy. Our birthright is love. And that's what I'm grateful for. Grateful for knowing that it always works, that the universe hears us, and that it's happening now. So as it's happening in this instant, we just let it go. We surrender it. We let it go. Take our hands off the wheel and let Spirit, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you call it, to step in and show us the way. And if you've resonated with any of this prayer, please anchor it in truth by saying after me, and so it is. Amen. Ashe.